white woman got, what was coming to her by her own, of course, a black councilwoman said that. She's getting dragged now, thankfully, thanks to all of you and their wonderful investigative skills. But also we got some actual aftermath photos of what happened to the woman who dared try to help up a man. A white man. We don't know what happened before this, obviously. And if you've been following the channel, you've seen the story. There was booze involved. It was 3 a.m. Really nothing good happens that late at night. If you're out in public anyway. And maybe some words were exchanged. Okay? Maybe someone put their hands on someone else. Okay? But what happened after that was what can only be described as a feral mob of about 15 black folks absolutely pummeling an old lady for the crime of trying to help someone up. And this is the aftermath. I just want to share that because this is what people were cheering. This is what people thought was good and funny and that they deserved it. Here is the Cincinnati official who cheered for it. Nope. Well, I can't. That's no real video there. The grim images show Holly, who is not otherwise identified. By the way, she was a single mom just out for somebody's birthday, although single mom out at 3 a.m., you're out too late, lady, too. You should know better. Was shown with a dark black eye, a busted lip, and dark bruises across her entire face and neck. 5 people have now since been charged after footage of the attack quickly went viral. The video appears to show a white man and woman being targeted by a group of largely black assailants. They're all black, that's all I saw. The pair were brutally punched and stomped as they cowered on the ground. The woman who was eventually knocked out cold. When I saw the video, I thought she was dead, Moreno told Fox News, Fox and Friends on Thursday. Adding to the images of her injuries, they were so horrible. Look what these animals did to her. Holly gave me permission to release the photos so that others will not suffer what she did, the outraged senator added. Well, unfortunately, if you're downtown around large groups of people who are on drugs or alcohol and they are young African Americans, this will happen again. Mm-hmm. This is a problem that can only be handled by the African American community, the black community, or lawmakers. And we can't count on lawmakers to do anything. So it's the black community that has to fix this. And they don't want to. They think it's funny. They asked for a beatdown, Parks replied to the video on Facebook, and I'm grateful for the whole story. Moreno called for Councilwoman and other Democrats to be booted from office as he threatened to cut federal funding for the city if they refuse to act. Now, this is what I'm talking about. There has to be real consequences, and that's, if you're going to have lawlessness where, law-abiding citizens can't walk down the street without getting pummeled into a fine mist,
Yep.
You either fix it or we're going to fix it for you. That's what we saw with these woke universities, right? Moreno called, this is what political leaders in Cincinnati are allowing, he raged. These idiotic political leaders that the citizens allowed to have office need to go. I'm going to call on all federal agencies to review the funding that we provide Cincinnati, and I'm giving the leaders of Cincinnati 1 month to come up with a plan to protect civil rights for their citizens. If they don't do it, I'm going to ask agencies to suspend all federal funding because we're not going to put up with this. The police chief, of course, blamed social media. The city council person blamed the victim. The Republican continued. This is a total travesty. I'm not going to put up with it. Ohio deserves better, and Cincinnati certainly does too. So now we're talking about having their federal funding taken away because of this, and I 100% support that. What we know about the 5 suspects right now. Anyone who caused harm will also face consequences. So if there's been 5 arrested, right, and there's definitely more than that, just to remind people, this was 7 or 8 on 1. 7 or 8 20 and 30-year-olds against a 60-year-old single mom. And then another man who, again, apparently there's some video of him maybe slapping a guy. We don't know what happened before that, but there was some engagement from him. But again, I've been that drunk before. I have never thought, hey, let me go do horrible things to people. I think about maybe DoorDashing $75 in Taco Bell, okay? This is not a problem that alcohol creates. It's a problem that alcohol illuminates. It's just like I always say, too, a drunk person speaks a sober mind. A lot of people say, oh, I said something I didn't mean. You meant it. You may not mean it now, but you meant it when you said it. This is some of just the numbers in Cincinnati, by the way, Democrat-run city.
Before we talk about this video, now let's get to it. It's in Cincinnati. We're about to have a live report on that viral brawl that we've been talking about. Always helpful, I think, to look at trends before you zoom in necessarily on one incident. So here we go. All right. Just start with violent crimes overall.
1,100 already.
Violent crimes.
That's just in Cincinnati.
Year to date in the city. That is actually down. It's 21 fewer than this time.
That's not really
last
down.
year, but percentage-wise, it's only like 2%, 1.8%, which in relative terms, compared to other cities, is not much. I mean, 17%, if you look at other major cities, is the drop we've seen in violent crimes. I'm talking about places like Atlanta, Chicago, New York.
20% drop? That
compared to what we saw last year. Again, contact.
But Cincinnati is not.
Now, homicides, 38 reported in Cincinnati so far this year. It's actually up one more than this time last.
I mean, it's crazy. We're talking about 50 people got killed. No big deal. I mean, here you have, we have the suspects identified. Again, this occurred at 3:06 a.m. I have more information on them. Where is this? Here it is. They begged for that beatdown. Councilmember Victoria Parks posts, "Oh, was that a German Shepherd? Oh, it's a German Sheppy." Hold on. What are we talking about here?
Oftentimes you think about a single-family home, or you think about a big apartment building. What we call middle housing is anything in
Not very good on the leash, lady. I think you need to work on some training there.
A quad.
All right, sorry, I digress. They begged for that beatdown. She posted, by the way, at 4:50 a.m. in the morning. What was she doing up? I guess maybe she was up that early. I suppose that's possible. Of course, it ended up getting the attention of libs of TikTok. Obviously, this woman should be fired. It's not. First of all, she didn't know anything about. The video Parks reacted to doesn't show how the fight began, but appears to show moments before it escalated. It starts with a man in a white polo shirt and another man in a black shirt assuming a fighting stance as onlookers shout at them. The black-shirted man kicks at the man in the white polo shirt. The man in the white polo shirt throws a punch after someone else tries to break up the fight. The man in the white shirt appears to say something to the man. See, they're already saying, oh, he must have said a slur. He must have said the word that white, obese women say allow black men to do whatever the heck they want. Let's see, the man in the white shirt then slaps the face of the man in the red shirt, brawl ensued. Now, maybe this guy was blackout drunk. That, if you're a normal human being and not an animal, is reason for letting it slide. Multiple times I've had people try me in the bar if they're really drunk, or try to start something with other people at the bar, and I always try to de-escalate. There's no value in it. First of all, if somebody's that drunk and you beat them up, big whoop. Second of all, somebody's going to end up getting hurt, and you're going to go to jail for it. I get it in a world, if you have literally nothing to live for, you don't care about that. But if you've got family or responsibilities, the issue's just not worth it. And, if somebody's that out of control, basically I just say, guys, it's not worth it. Let it be. Or, just walk away from it. That's how normal people react. Now, if you can't get away from it, okay, fine. You have to defend yourself. I understand that. Usually not that hard against somebody who's that drunk and stumbling around. You see, again, more pushback. This is it's unconscionable that an elected official will be celebrating this attack in the very city she was voted to serve. Cincinnati police president said, this highlights poor political environment that police officers, residents, and visitors are currently enduring. Thankfully, there's an election in November. and I urge voters to vote for change. They won't. State Representative Phil Plummer also demanded Parks step down. Cincinnati Councilwoman Victoria Parks must resign immediately. I assume she will resign, after today. But I think what you need to do is, well, first of all, get rid of women on the police force, especially in positions of leadership. They're not good leaders. They're just not. It's not who they are. Second of all, the federal government needs to step in and protect its citizens. If these cities are going to continue to elect these soft on crime losers, then we absolutely should be ripping their federal funding and making it very difficult for them to get all their programs funded, because then they're going to have to go to the people and they're going to ask for money, or they're going to have to raise taxes locally, or they're going to have to answer for why they lost federal funding. And that will actually bring about real change. Not this like social media outrage, which sometimes is effective, but if you go in there, you take these losers' money away, and you make them go to the people and say, hey, that summer program that we had for your kids, that's gone. The food bank, well, we lost funding for that because we have a bunch of obese liberal women in positions of leadership and they don't want to do their job. And then people will change their votes. It's time to daddy up on these cities. We have to protect Americans, even if their local government refuses to. I hope you were informed by this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
A white woman beaten unconscious, a black mob jumping a couple in broad daylight, and instead of outrage, the city actually defended it. No arrests at first, just excuses, spin, and praise for the attackers. Same thing. You got to be ready for this before this video gets taken down or something and nobody can see it. This woman didn't get pushed. She got knocked out cold, bruised, battered, swollen shut. But here's the catch. When the mob's the wrong skin color, the media is mute.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, would this be a trending story or some sort of national emergency if she were black? Just wait. The vice mayor has the nerve to explain it all the way, like it's no big deal.
But the conversation turns to this one incident, adults fighting at 3 a.m. This is not who we are. But the conversation turns to this one incident, adults fighting at 3 a.m. This is not who we are. But the conversation turns to this one incident, adults fighting at 3 a.m. This is not who we are.
One incident of adults fighting? Lady, this ain't a backyard scuffle. This was a targeted ambush. What are you talking about? What? You've got a city leader brushing off hate crimes like it's a parking lot argument. The hell is wrong with her? This is what happens when DEI infects common sense, I tell you that. Justice get replaced with excuses. And just when you think the gaslighting couldn't go any deeper, the family of the attacker steps in with the whole
Now, if you remember Chief Terry Fiji, more to the story, here's what Montiana's Merriweather's mother had to say outside of court.
These Russians was walking down the street, and on the video, he said, you want to mess with these Russians? And he smacked the first guy, but it wasn't like they thugs. My child is in school. He had 5 kids. He's on the B honor roll in school.
5 kids?
And he's not the thug that they put out in there to be.
Now, if you remember...
Well, I don't know how old this guy is. So, but when she said he was in school, I guess I was like, what? He like college, 5 kids? Like, I don't know what my... Anyhow, she said he's a bright young scholar. The man's being charged with
fucking hate
felonious
crime,
assault. And now he's the one misunderstood.
The woman's not Russian. She's fucking an Idaho native.
Every single time. Same script. Different city. When do we stop pretending like consequences don't matter? But if you want to see where this mindset really comes from, look no further then the institution's actually feeding it.
Mm-hmm. Law enforcement, you come across this video. Somebody need to be fired. Over the weekend in downtown Cincinnati, Ohio, 2025 Jazz Festival, a white man got jumped so bad by a group of black people. It's not even shocking. It makes you fucking angry where, man, your head want to pop up. They stomped and kicked this man. I mean, I can't even show the video on my platform because TikTok will censor me, probably ban my account. And if you come across the video, that's how that shit makes you so mad. A white woman who was sitting up here from a distance, seen this shit, try to come over and de-escalate the situation, and a black dude come over, for what I see in the video, sucker punched her, knocked her unconscious, eyes open, blood streaming on the street. The white man tried to get up, stumbling and shit. They kicked and stomped. Man, they beat this man bad. It don't matter what was the situation. This is why I'm probably like one of the many, as a black man, who don't be on that color shit. I don't even have people around me. No friends, but not even whisper none of that shit. But it's people like this that helps drive the biggest knife in this country. And Democrats are all for it because it's so shocking. None of the mainstream power outlets of news media, CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, PBS, none of them are covering the video.
Mm-hmm.
Police in Cincinnati, Ohio. Somebody need to stop. Let it be the other way around. Y'all air this shit like it ain't no tomorrow.
Yep.
A lot of white people are not like that. A lot of black people ain't like that. It's these type like this that try to keep that knife in between people. Mm-hmm. This is why a lot of people can't go out and have a good time. They strapped, they got guns to protect their loved ones, to protect their kids. But you don't even want to go to this shit. Whether you young, middle age, and older, God forbid, if you were older and you was in there participating in that shit, man, Cincinnati, they don't need to see the light of day no more. And I mean that on everything.
I mean, exactly. I've seen somebody post something along the lines of, matter of fact, instead of saying that, I'm going to just show y'all. Hold on, what we got? This, yeah, I got to make sure I get it all in line for you. So, Victoria Parks.
Piece of shit, Democrat.
Posted, they begged for the beatdown. I'm grateful for the whole story. Wow. She's been a member of the Cincinnati City Council since 2022. Y'all want to see next level evil?
Mm-hmm.
This is it. Whoa. Slow down.
In the middle of your screen, Montanez Merriweather was indicted earlier this month on other felony charges. Mm-hmm. According to Cincinnati's police union, which sounded off on the court system, saying Merriweather only had to pay $400 to post bail and walked out of jail on those previous charges. In the horrific video, you can see a white man being repeatedly punched and kicked by a group of black men and women in downtown Cincinnati on Saturday at around 3 a.m. Then you see a woman get knocked out cold with blood on her face. And bystanders are just recording on their phones instead of stepping in. Cincinnati's police chief, Teresa Thigi, said only one person called 911 in a crowd of 100 or so people. But police haven't said what led to the fight, and the outrage continues to grow as people demand to know why the brutal attack even took place. U.S. Republican Senator John Husted from Ohio said he talked with 3 of the victims.
I called all 3 of them. There may have been more in conversations with them. They didn't understand why. I know maybe more facts will come out in this situation, but this is the point that's true. This is happening in America across our cities like it did in Cincinnati. It's not tolerable.
So the police chief said at a public safety meeting last night that she will not tolerate lawlessness on the streets of Cincinnati. This morning, we've learned the FBI has now opened an investigation into that vicious brawl, as 3 out of the 5 suspects who've been arrested so far are expected to be arraigned this morning.
Okay, I wanted to make sure we got the very beginning of that, but Victoria Park, she said they begged for that beat down. You can't make this up. The city council or a city official praising racial violence like his activism. These people aren't leaders, man. They're arsonists with office titles, right? And this is what DEI culture produces: rage without responsibility. And finally, the one person with the guts to call it for what it really is.
Incident that happened in Cincinnati, Ohio. I've been watching comments and videos and stuff, but my confusion is, why hasn't this been deemed a hate crime? Why? Why hasn't this been deemed a hate crime? Jumping a woman, a man, socking a woman, and a bunch of other men just laughing and recording and hooting and hollering. Why aren't these people in jail, Cincinnati PD? And I know people in the Cincinnati PD. Why aren't these people in jail for life, the rest of their lives? I can see them on the video.
Right.
You should be able to identify these folks. These people behaving this way. This is a hate crime. Solve it.
Hate crime. That's what it was. And it took, this man right here with the phone to say what the government refused to admit. If this had been a white mob attacking black people, the FBI would be on site. Thank God that, we've learned since then they've made some arrests. The only color that mattered in this case was red from the blood that was on that pavement. But let's land this with the realest voice of them all. Down. I mean, raw, unfiltered.
There you go. That was a fucking hate crime.
We're going to talk about the Cincinnati brawl, but I want to issue a respectful warning.
As simple as that. It was a hate crime. Now, the role of the reverse was 20-something whites jumping on 2 other blacks. The whole case would be all ABC, CNN, News 19, News 10, PBC, NBC, all these, CBS, all these Democratic news stations will be covering it. It was whites jumping on blacks. Yeah. But since it's blacks jumping on whites, silence. Radio silence for all these Democratic places. Only one to cover in the news station is Fox News. That tells you right there who's paying attention to what's going on. That was a Democrat. Rosa Parks, she's a Democrat. Which I did hold on, let me look up something real quick while I'm at it right here. If I'm not mistaken, I have seen something about her. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get it to come up. If freaking... Okay, here we go. Here we go. There, here we go. Pull it up right here. I can pull her up. Yeah, right here. Hold on. Okay, Cincinnati said it is a violent act of the instigator wrote the same response from a group in the downtown brawl. Basically, the vice president of Cincinnati and that's your mayor or councilwoman are racist piece of shits. I know somebody's not gonna like me saying that, but that's how I see it. Because that there's a part woman say the white people asked for it and she's glad they got the beating. Now that the role was in reverse, if 20 to 30 something whites jumped on over a couple of black people, they'd be wanting to hang. if you want the white people shot, thrown in jail, or murdered. But since it's blacks done it, oh, it's okay. They asked for it. It's a hate crime against whites, plain and simple. But it's okay, because the ones that got arrested, some got out or locked in jail, and some got out. One person only paid $400, 10% of $4,000 got out. But the one that got $100,000, he had a criminal record. The other one too, the girl as well. But my point is this: it was a hate crime altogether. Okay, if whites done it to the blacks, it'd be riots, injustice, crying, all that. But no, if it happened to whites, it got by blacks. But if whites did it to blacks, it'd be a race crime. This is the reason why I carry my knife or a gun on me when I'm here in town. Because there's a lot of crazy ass motherfuckers over here in town as well. But lately the roads been reversed. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. You'll hear it every single damn day until they got every single person locked up for it. And throw it away for life. But the white guy got jumped, he was Russian. But the woman, they claimed she was a Russian agent. She was not Russian. She was Idaho native, born there. She was born and raised in Idaho. She's a single mother to a special needs kid, for crying out loud. All she did is try to break it up. But you see some of what black girl can run in. That girl had a wider record too. So yeah. Oh, it's okay. It's okay for blacks to beat on whites. But it's a crime if whites do this to blacks. That's the main point right there. Okay? It's a hate crime either way. But it seems to me, like this lady's doing right here, is making like the whites were the perpetrators, not the victims in their instance. And you can plainly see they was the victims, because they even say, hey, you'll mess with the white Russians? Automatically using the race car. Those blacks, I can't call their names. I didn't hear their names and everything because I'm fucking trying to get this shit down here. It clearly shows you that it's getting to the point. It's going to be a race war here in the United States of America. And all our countries that hate our guts are waiting for the opportunity so they can come in and attack America. People we're at each other's throats. But that Jamaica, whatever fucking name he is, what's his name, bitch? Dumbass bitch. Okay? Wants this shit to go down. And everything. And now I'm going to get back to what it says right here.
To everybody, if you're going to get in the comment section and post your opinion, and make sure you stay respectful. No disrespect allowed in my comment section. It's okay to have your opinion, but it's not okay to get disrespectful and or start disrespecting somebody else in the comment section just because they don't agree with you. Now about this Cincinnati brawl, I feel like motherfuckers was super fucked up and they know they was bogus as hell that the way that they did that man. And then for all of those people to be just standing around hyperactive and loud and screaming and yelling and video recording it instead of trying to stop everybody from beating on this man, knowing damn well for one, you can end up losing your freedom, and don't end up losing your freedom. If people cared about you, they would have thought about that, because depending on that man's injuries, depend on the type of charges that people are going to be looking at. And for two, people should have been sitting there thinking about what type of damage they could have did to that man. And not only that, y'all already did enough damage. It only took one person to fight that man. It ain't never fair when you got more than one person fighting another person and people just around beating on people and stomping on people, and when this man on the ground kicking him in his face and doing all of that shit. If this was a black brother that was getting beat on inside of a community that was majority white, with the people that was around that was beating on them and kicking on them and stomping on them and doing all of that shit, people wouldn't care what that black brother had said and or did. People would have cared about the fact that all of these white brothers shouldn't be jumping on this black brother, and that's fucked up, because it only takes one person to fight somebody, and if it take you two of them to take two people, take two people. But people will not agree with somebody brutally beating somebody the way that people stood out there beating this white brother. People have got to start trying to do for other people the same thing that you would want done for yourself. And if that was a black brother out there and there was white brothers around, ain't no way in the fuck I would have wanted them to be beating on and kicking and stomping that young man like that out there in the goddamn street. And I don't want people beating and stomping on a white brother out there in the goddamn street. Absolutely. He might have said something offensive. I have no idea what went on, and I don't believe other people have said what went on. But no matter what went on, everybody knows that nobody should have been out there stomping and beating on that man the way that they did. And they damn sure know that they shouldn't have put their hands on that lady that was up there trying to break things up, especially that man that clocked her in her face and knocked her out. And while those people that actually put their hands on that man probably think those people that was video recording and rooting them on and screaming, had your best interests at heart, they didn't have your best interests at heart, because now think about the charges that you're about to face, and they could have stopped you from receiving those charges. You see a good friend and somebody that has your best interests at heart, they're going to help you to get out of a charge, not encourage you to catch a charge, because everybody out there rooting you on knew damn well the more you beat on that man and the more people got involved, the harsher the charges was going to be for you. Bet you neither one of your good friends out there stopped to tell you, hey, think about your kids that you got to go home to. Think about your kids. If you end up losing your freedom, how you going to be there for your kids? And I bet you they didn't think about your jobs. Each and every last one of them deserve all of the charges that they got coming that way, because all of y'all should have had enough common sense to know not to beat on that man in the middle of the street and or to beat on that man the way that you did, and each and every last one of y'all know that you was wrong. I know somebody's gonna say, but hey, what about the times when there was white people that was beating on black people, or when people do wrong by black people? Then we face that when it happens, and people get up and they talk about it, and they face that injustice when it happens. That don't mean to ignore the injustice that just happened to this man by getting beat on the way that he just got beat on. And like I said, even if that man said something out of pocket to one of y'all or a group of y'all, it only take one person to put their hands up and go toe to toe, man to man, and not take 10, 20 people or however many people was out there beating and stumping on this man.
You said it right. It don't take 20 people to handle one man. And if this was a black man stumped by a group of white boys, you see protests, you see news vans, politicians on the ground, all of it, the whole spill. Instead, we get in silence. And this isn't about race. It's about who's allowed to get away with it. And in Democrat cities, that ass ain't hard to figure out. When black folks act up like this, man, and there's a distinction. You got black people and you got niggas.
There you go.
I gotta say, I don't care. I mean, when they act up in the city class for it, it's not just lawlessness, it's planned, man. And they tell you this isn't who we are. I'll tell you, look them exactly in the eye and say,
I heard what he said. I don't need to say anymore. He said the exact same word I want to say, but I ain't going to say it. As you can see, there's hate crimes in Democratic cities. Now let me say this again. There's hate crimes, violence of hate, happening in Democratic cities. If you look at it, every single kind of crime that happened, New York, that's a Democratic. Boom, there you go. The whole fucking town, city of New York is going at shit in a handbasket. Now you're talking about these black folks are fuming over a white-owned town. In a way, I wouldn't blame the guy in Arkansas having an all-white town. If you see what happened in Cincinnati, what's going on in New York and everything like that, there you go. That's a plain good example reason why that he didn't want that no blacks in that town. Because of what's going on with other cities were doing and everything. You know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is, because there you go. I mean, don't take common sense and everything. The guy who wanted to place all whites in Arkansas, he's watching all the news to see what's going on, and nope, don't want that in my city. Don't want that in my town. It don't take one bad person, or one bad black or white, to get the whole race label for that. Seriously, it just takes one person to do that and it get all labeled. And when the whole race gets labeled for something that person did, then yeah, that will make a pretty good argument for it. Reason why. And I know people ain't gonna like that, but let's face it, I'm just being real about it. You had to be real about it. And people don't like that, but you gotta actually understand it's like that. That shit happens and everything. Some people ain't gonna like that comments, but you gotta look at it from a standpoint and everything. You really have to look at it from a standpoint that what's going on in the world and everything. Excuse me, I got a little comics popping up on my thing here. It just takes one person to see the negative of what's going on, and boom, it's over. Some people say, oh, no. It just takes one person or one dumbass to ruin all the outlook of any kind of race. And all it takes is one person to do something pretty racist, and that's it. It's done. People say, I don't want to deal with this motherfucking shit no more. Like, a few months ago, they had this black lady bought a town in Georgia all for blacks, no whites in it. But now they want to get mad because a guy here bought a city out in Arkansas only for whites. But it's a crime for that to do him. They didn't say shit about that when a black lady bought a whole town for blacks. Okay, that is kind of wrong though, but it shows you how hypocritical some shit can be. It really shows you how hypocritic Democrats can be, or how hypocritic some people are out there. It really does. It makes you say, hey, wait a second, this is not right. But then again, you gotta look at it like this. You look at how all the hate crimes happen. I'm gonna show you what this is comparing. Most hate crimes happen in Democratic states. You don't hear a lot of hate crimes in Republican states. It's all Democrat states. There you go. If you put connection with Democrat states and the hate crimes going around, you'd be kind of shocking the outcome or the statistics behind that. I know somebody in my comments going to comment about, oh, you being racist, No, I'm not being racist, damn it. I'm pointing out the wrong, all that shit is going on. I'm pointing out that this black mob tried to kill these two white people. And almost did. Almost did, man. Almost did kill these two white people for no apparent reason. It showed the video and everything. That black guy who got $100,000 did swing on the white person, and then the white person slapped him. My point is this. You swung first on the white person, and he slapped you back. To be honest, you had no right to do that. And then they dragged them out and beat on these people. One woman was already sucker punched and laying there in the road, bleeding. But you have the fucking nerves to say these people was Russian. The guy was Russian. And everybody came over here lived for 20 years, so he's American. But it's just, oh, they were white Russians, they was da 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 da. No. The woman that got jumped was an Idaho native, born and raised in Idaho. Was not no Russian. So, saying this racist shit, this racist that. What do you mean? Like that. So, have a nice day. Good night.